Hey all, Zook here, back with part 14 of the All Bosses Damageless route through Scholar the First Sin. This time we're gonna go pick up a few bonfires throughout Brume Tower, along with some of the key items that'll help us get through the rest of the area. So you're gonna go ahead, cast Fall Control, make your way down here, cast Yearn to distract these Ashen Warriors that are spawning. Then hop on the ladder and drop off it. You're going to want to make sure the Lingering Dragon Crest ring is equipped because we're about to cast Yearn and we want it to last. And when the possessed armor turns around, drop down. And then cast Yearn before you drop down one more level. And kill this guy, should take 2 or 3 hits. And then if you go through, as long as you hug that wall on your right, these guys shouldn't see you. Right, that warrior right there should not see you. And then next up, we're going to go into a secret room to grab some wilted dusk herbs and soul vessels. These are going to be necessary if you do Alana using sorceries. If you do her using melee, then you don't really need this. But I'm going to use a skull to distract that warrior. He probably could have hit me with one of his axes. So just some way or another, distract those 2 warriors that spawn. You might just want to do 2 different Yearn casts. Whatever you'd end up choosing to do. You are going to go into the secret room afterwards, and you'll see I just grabbed some wilted dusk herbs, 4 of them from that chest. And then from this chest, I'm going to get 2 soul vessels. This is going to let us respec into our sorcery mode when we end up trying to fight Alana. And then it'll also let us respec back into our normal stats for every other boss. Now I open up this door. And then since the fire arrows are equipped, I'm going to blow up these cask runners. Cast Fall Control before jumping over this railing. And then there's going to be a possessed armor that's down here trying to shoot us. You can kind of see its bow rise up, and it shot an arrow at us. We shoot those fire barrels so that it kind of blows off to the side, and if we get lucky, then it lands in the fire, and as you see, it got killed just because it stood up in the fire. If it doesn't get killed from standing up in the fire, you can still kind of run through as it aggroes, and then just from back here, you would want to shoot it. The same way that we just shot that little cask runner. You could even blow up the cask runner to knock it down. But cast Fall Control, cast Yearn once down here on the first level, and then I always, just for good measure, cast another Yearn on the second level, even though I'm pretty sure the first one distracts those 2 guys on the bottom level. And then we rest here at the upper floor bonfire before going down 1 more level. And now there are 2 ways to get to the foyer bonfire. The way that I don't do is the speed running skip. Since you have fall control, if you know how to do the speed running skip and can do that consistently, then do that, because that is much quicker and honestly even safer if you're able to consistently do it. I'm not able to consistently do it, so instead I go this route where I shoot these guys with the casks, and I'm gonna have to poison this iron golem. So it'll take a second to do that. Like I said, the speedrunning skip, I mean, you'd already be rested at the fire and on to the fume sorcerers, but you can do this way where you just kind of keep it safe. And then we're going to cast Yearn. So make sure that you did rest at that previous bonfire so that you have some of these Yearn cast back. Alluring Skulls also work to distract them in the immediate if you need to save any Yearn casts. But you really only need 2 or maybe 3 Yearn casts saved for this next section. So I just cast Fall Control and I start running through. We're going to jump off the left side here onto this giant ash mound, and there's going to be one warrior that immediately jumps at us, so we cast Yearn to the right, or throw a skull to the right, sorry, so that it distracts. Throw another skull, and I actually could have cast Yearn on that first one. As you see, one of the sorcerers actually sent a lightning spear down my way when I cast that last Yearn, so it might actually make sense either cast Yearn when I threw the second skull, because Yearn distracts the sorcerers whereas a skull won't, or just cast a third skull and just skedaddle on out of there, as opposed to casting Yearn for that third distraction, right? But now we're just going to grab the foyer bonfire, and then make sure that we've got Hush as part of our attuned spells. But before we need to use that, we're just going to send this flame statue down, cast Yearn so that the sorcerer on the other end of the hallway is distracted. And then it actually just worked out perfectly, where the explosion kind of pushed it all the way back. Otherwise, you'd normally have to shoot an arrow or 2 at it and push it back into the flames. But once the flames subside, roll on through, cast Yearn here, because you're going to have to melee this sorcerer that's trying to surprise you. So we melee this sorcerer. You can open up the gate if you want, or just send the statue down. And again, you're just going to cast Yearn, and then because these 2 sorcerers aren't going to be dead from just the flame, 2, sometimes 3 arrows will push it back. The sorcerers do poison, so you'll see me shooting poison arrows at it. I cast Yearn one more time just to make sure that it's distracted. And then I open up the gate, just in case I have to run back through here. Again, you don't have to do these safety strats if you're actually trying for the run. This is more so just me knowing that, I make mistakes. I'm not aiming for perfection with this. I'm just trying to give an idea, give a route, so that I can see somebody else actually get this run, But we're going to cast Hush and then shoot an arrow as soon as we see lava coming onto that right side wall. And then I mess up here because I should not have immediately gone for the lever. I should have gone for the lever as soon as I see lava actually going onto the lever again. That's when it would have actually been safe for me to then walk to the lever and pull it, because this guy, the Iron Golem, only aggroes if you roll or sprint by him. So if I had actually waited for his lava to fall off of his right side, then I can walk behind him, pull the lever, and lava will go off his left side as I pull the lever. And then we can walk back to our safe spot, all before lava goes off his right side again. Again, that is something that works if you actually get the proper timing of it. So learn that proper timing. I know I've mentioned once or twice before Odstarva's videos. Odstarva's all boss video where he goes through this is a prime example of how to actually pull off that strategy perfectly. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in doing this type of run. But with that being said, I open up that last shortcut just so I can come back here if I need to. And we're just going to kill these guys. If you have a whole bunch of urine casts, and if you're perfectly fine with using herbs to restock your spell casts, then I mean, you can actually light one or two of these guys on fire, because when they're on fire, they'll become super aggressive. And then if you cast urine, they fall for urine. So, I mean, they will attack the urine bubble, and after they do one attack, they actually are programmed to then blow themselves up. So, just make sure that they're blowing themselves up on a urine bubble, and you should be good. But, alternatively, you can do it the way that I'm doing it right here, where I'm just poisoning them. And, I mean, yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but this way I don't have to worry about them becoming hyper aggressive and accidentally attacking me when they aren't supposed to. Or at least when I'd like them not to. So I help him along after he's poisoned. And then we're going to come over here to this ladder and we're going to start to go down it. And we're going to get invaded by Quicksword Rachel. And so actually one of the neat things about Quicksword Rachel, so if you go down the ladder and if you actually get her to hop on the ladder, if you like sprint up the ladder, again, this is assuming that she's on the ladder, but if she's on the ladder and you sprint up, you can drop down to this middle level. And if she's still on the ladder, then her AI just kind of like freaks out and doesn't know what to do, and it just stays on the ladder. And you can just shoot her with poison arrows and poison her over and over again, and then until she's banished. So, super easy strategy if you do it that way. I wasn't able to get it, and I was just like, all right, whatever, I'll just fight her normal. So I poison her if possible, or I light at least one of those oil basins on fire. And again, you see I've got her poisoned at this point. And then I'm just going to kite all around this little fire place. Right, a little bit scary. But kite her around this and she'll walk through the flames to try to get to me. She actually goes a little bit quicker than I was expecting, so I have to kind of reset. But again, just come over to the other side of it. That you can shoot her, and if you have the stone ring equipped, stone ring can actually break her poise pretty easily, cause her to kind of get stuck on the flames and take extra damage sometimes. But I've got her poisoned at this point as well, so she's about to go down. And once she goes down, I cast Fall Control because I'm just dropping off the ledge. And then going to pick up the Scorching Iron Scepter. So I cast Urine to the left and then I run to the right, kind of over by where the exit's supposed to be. Cast Urine again. And like I'd mentioned, when these guys are on fire, which they are on fire from the one guy that's programmed to blow up, they get super aggressive. So I just cast Urine, and eventually one of them is going to blow up, hit all the rest of them, right? Boom. And then they just keep going after the urine bubbles. If you cast urine far enough away from the Scorching Iron Scepter, you can just pick it up and then homeward out of here. Nothing really to worry about at this point. Alrighty. So now that we have the scepter, we should be back at the foyer bonfire. We're going to put the scepter in its slot. And then I'll rest at the bonfire to recharge all of my urine casts, because we are going to need urine for getting down to the Fume Knight's bonfire. So I hop onto this first elevator, and actually before we go down to the Fume Knight, we are going to go grab the tower key, which allows us to reach both of the other bosses, the Blue Smelter Demon and Sir Alan. So I'm going to hop off of the platform and turn left, go down this passageway, and when I go down the passageway, still got my fire arrows equipped because there are a couple of cask runners that we need to blow up. And then step into the ash, and that will spawn the first iron golem. And with these guys, it's, for as much as I hate it, you just gotta kind of be patient with them. They can be poisoned, so I just shoot them with poison arrows, and then if it looks like they're coming too close, then I freak out and back away. If you're lucky, then they'll actually come all the way in here, at which point you can shoot them. And I mean, he'll jump at you like that, and he might run down the hallway pretty far. So I mean, don't assume that you're safe at any point. Right, like he even comes out this far, where he's about to start running at me even further. This is actually the farthest that I've ever seen one of these guys come out. But just be patient, keep coming backwards, you should be good. The second one's going to spawn as we break this little ashen guy. Right, it's as we approach the items. Just like with the last one, try to lure it back here. This time, I'm not so lucky. He doesn't actually get lured back. And it takes a second to kill this one. Again, just remember, poison arrows are your friend. And this ends up becoming much, much, much easier if the boss is poisoned, or sorry, if this enemy is poisoned. Just makes it go a lot quicker. Yeah, this is probably the worst part of this run through, just because there really isn't a super safe method of aggroing that second guy. It's you just hope that you get lucky and he actually comes into this corridor so that you can shoot him from the corridor. Because I mean, once you do shoot him from inside the corridor, he will aggro to you. It's just a matter of getting him into a spot where you can hit him from inside the building here. So, is what it is. Takes a minute and a half to kill him, but once we get him down, then we run all the way out here to the edge, and finally we have the tower key, which again is going to open up the pathways to two of the bosses. But before we use the tower key for anything, we are going to go grab the bonfire in front of the Fume Knight. So we head off to the right, and there's going to be an elevator going down. Cast fall control, and then we're going to head to the upper left corner of this grate, and we're going to face the chain. We're going to sprint off just to the left of the chain and then do a plunging attack. You have to sprint off. Cast Yearn, poke with the rapier so that you fall off, but don't fall off too far forward. So we fall off specifically in that sweet spot where the possessed armor won't hit us. Cast the Yearn behind us so that both the archer that we just ran past and the possessed armor that we landed in front of, basically all of the enemies are distracted by our urine casts. meaning we can just take the elevator down. So then as you take the elevator down, we are going to just kind of go around the edges of this kiln and use the smelter wedges that we picked up at the beginning of Brume Tower. We're going to use those smelter wedges and kill these 4 ashen idols that are all around the edge here. And then, quite honestly, at this point, you have the stats to be able to do Fume Knight. You aren't ever going to punish Fume Knight more than like 2 times in a row. So you have enough endurance. That's really, from here on out, the only things that we're really leveling up is going to be endurance. So with all of that being said, we don't do Fume Knight here, as I prefer to save all the DLC bosses for the last parts, but you're going to see me just pick up this bonfire so that I have something to run back to, and then I'm actually going to go to the Ruined Fork bonfire, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up some gold pine resin just to finish up this video. Since at the start of the next video, we are actually just going to start completing the rest of the main storyline. So going to Looking Glass Night, and then Amana and Undead Crypt is actually all going to be next video. But for right now, just grabbing the gold pine resin so that I have it for those upcoming bosses. Right, talk to Vengarl. And then buy at least 10 lightning resins. Since we do have our aromatic oozes, we don't need all 20 lightning resin, but I like to buy a few. But yeah, that's now that we have all the items that we need, now that we've leveled up as much as we need to, and I mean, you can go and make sure that you've got strength leveled up a bit, and make sure you have endurance leveled up if you really want to go back to Majula. You can double check and buy any bright bugs if you need to buy any bright bugs. And actually, I suppose when I said earlier that we just level up endurance, I was thinking that we already had 40 faith. 40 faith is, or sorry, not faith, 40 strength. 40 strength is going to be something that we need, along with I leveled up to 25 intelligence right here, just as opposed to having to equip the Ring of Intelligence to be able to cast Dark Fog. I just figured I would level up to 25 intelligence because 5 levels really isn't that big of a deal. Since I am a little bit short on souls for being able to get this upcoming bright bug, I go ahead, come over here, kill Salden. That's an easy 900 or so souls. Buy the bright bug. Then just to finish here, we are going to travel on back to Central Castle Drangleic. So like I said, next time around we are going all the way from Looking Glass Night up through Velstadt. So I will catch you in the next one.